Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Welcome into Missing the Point. I'm your host, Michael Marcangelo, joined alongside by the real BK Bob Kelly and Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan. Boys, how we doing tonight?
Good, man. Chill. Yeah.
Love the intensity.
Didn't have to stress about the Celtics not showing effort this week. It was good. My blood pressure stayed under 180 for the last 7 days, and that, my friend, is a good week.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. I mean, I just saw my kids graduate, and that was awesome. So, you know, they've had more success than the Celtics lately. So, you know, it's awesome to see.
A lot of hate still for the
DC
Celtics.
looked fun, bro. That looked like a good time.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Hot as hell, but it was great.
I want you all to keep that intensity up because there's a lot of heat. There's still a lot of hate for the Celtics. We'll talk a little bit about them. I figure we'll actually talk about the NBA Finals, do a little recap of the Denver Nuggets beating the bag out of the Miami Heat 4-1. Other NBA news, we got a big kind of story breaking today with Bradley Beal requesting a trade out of Washington. So we can talk about potential suitors there. We also have the Ja Morant saga, and we'll talk a little bit about D-Hop visiting the Patriots. But let's start with the Nuggets beating the Miami Heat 4-1. I mean, the series, it feels like it was never close. And obviously there was a gentleman's sweep, so it was in 5. But Ray, where do you rank this performance by the Joker? And like in your mind, he led all the playoffs in all scoring, rebounding, and assists. Do you think that this puts him in the top 10 big men of all time?
Yeah, so not top 5 yet. I think that's a bit premature. I think that he definitely deserves to be in that next tier, which is like around 7, 8. You know, you think about Bill Russell, you think about Kareem, you think about Wilt, you think about Shaq. I think guys like Moses Malone deserve to be in that conversation. I think maybe even someone like a Patrick Ewing or David Robinson deserve to be in that conversation. Once again, as a big man, we're not talking about what they did championship-wise or not, like just as skill.
He's higher than them, though, isn't he?
I mean, but you got so to me, he's not above a team in my opinion. Not yet. I think he's getting there. He's getting there. Like Hakeem to me is number 5, and then I'm okay. Like if you put him right above Moses Malone right now, maybe I'm like okay, and I get it. Like I expect the recency bias to be there with him, and I have no beef with that. I just think that check Basketball Reference, check Stat News, look at the numbers those guys were putting up. This wasn't like they were just hooping at the YMCA. Like they were giving people numbers on a regular basis. So I just want to give credit where it's due there. Now, once again, if he's able to get another ring, potentially another MVP, and still continue the level of dominance, even though the dominance looks different for him than other centers in years past, then yeah, he easily jumps into the top 5 because he's doing stuff that we haven't seen in quite some time. So I love what he's doing. But like I said, right now, he's still outside the top 5 for me, objectively speaking. But I don't doubt that he'll get there in the near future.
Bobby, what about you?
Number 6. I think he's right there. You know, I mean, obviously, you read off the list of the big men, top big men of all time. You hit the usual suspects: George Mikan, Tim Duncan, you know, Hakeem, like Ray just said, Shaq, Moses Malone, what?
Bill Russell.
Wilt, Bill Russell, right? Those guys. I feel like he is right in between. I think he's just below Shaq at this point, but he is nipping at Shaq's heels. Let's just if he has another 2 to 3 years at this level of play, I don't see any reason why he's not going to pass Hakeem, why he's not going to pass Shaq, because you gotta step back and like look at the full picture of what he's doing and like what he could potentially become. I know we're talking about like right this second, but like he should have won his 3rd straight MVP this year. Literally 3 straight MVPs. What's that been done twice in the history of the NBA? So
yeah, well, Bird's one of them. I don't know who the other person was. Bird one too. So.
MJ won 3 in a row, didn't he?
No,
he didn't. I think
Never
Malone got one in between. So
oh, that's right. I forgot Malone. Yeah. But it's just he has to be in that group because now he has the championship to go along with those MVPs because that's what makes it from a top 10 guy to an all-time great top 5, top 3 guy, potentially the best big man ever. Because with the skill set that he has in today's NBA, the sky's the limit for this dude. They with the team around him that they built, that's literally designed for Jokic to do exactly what he wants to do every single offensive possession. That literally, as I said 3 times already, sky's the limit for this guy. I think he ends up number 1. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think he ends up the best of all.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a lot to unpack there.
Listen, okay, you want to talk about Bill Russell? I get it. All the championships, totally understand. But okay, number 2. I don't think he takes over Russell.
Thank you. Okay. But sticking with you, what was your overall takeaway from the series? 4-1 over the Heat. There were 3 of the games were decided by more than 10 points, so they did dominate in 3 out of 4 of their wins. Are the Nuggets a dynasty that we're about to see? Like, are we on the precipice of this dynasty, or were they just lucky to have been playing the Heat? Like, what's your takeaway from this?
I think it's a squad that's here to stay. You look at what they did during the regular season and how many people were on board the Nugget train going into this playoffs, just because they absolutely were the most complete best team in the NBA all year. We talked about this multiple times. So every single team had some glaring weakness. You know what I mean? Every single team had that thing that you looked at where you're like, I don't know about that. I don't think that's not the Nuggets, man. The Nuggets literally didn't have that. I think the only thing that could have possibly hurt them is if Porter and Aaron Gordon went cold. And guess what? That didn't happen. So, and even if one did, the other one didn't. So it's just, I think they're set up for long-term success, especially in the West, because no one in the West really is set up for long-term success moving forward. So yeah, no, they're here to stay for sure. Get used to Jokic being in contention for a finals for quite a while.
Ray, what do you think? Dynasty or what? Like, what's your takeaway after this route? And I'll call it that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, because I'm a part of some sports groups on Facebook, and I've been a big fan of Jokic since like 2017, and I even made a post about him. I wanted him to come here in 2018. I didn't know where they would have to get, meaning to Boston, I meant, for that to happen. But yeah, he's constantly improved, and I think it's trickled down to Murray and obviously Michael Porter Jr. But honestly, we'll get into this. It speaks to the patience that they showed. Because once again, Michael Porter Jr. had 3 back surgeries. They could have easily gave up on him and said, "We're out of here." Jamal Murray had an ACL injury. They could have said, "Hey, get him out of here." So
he literally thought he was damaged goods. He told the GM,
I'm like,
"Are y'all going to trade me? I'm damaged goods."
They stayed the course, and I know that's a tough line up here, but they stayed the course, and it eventually paid off. So I mean, it's just like, I think but I do think, yeah, like Bobby said, in the West, they're set up for success. I think there's some other teams that, if healthy, may give them a run for their money, but I just think that as long as Jokic's game is not predicated on athleticism, so because of that, we're watching a new age Tim Duncan.
That's what's so amazing about him.
Yeah,
that's why the longevity is going to be crazy with him, because of the fact he doesn't have to jump. Every big man,
if he wants to play,
because he literally doesn't. I don't. Did you watch? He doesn't jump.
Yeah,
he jumped like twice all series because he's just in position every single possession. It's great, because you think about the downfall of all these big men, right? Mm-hmm. It's always the knees. Patrick Ewing, the knees. Kevin Garnett, the knees. Go on down the line. That's not going to happen with Jokic because even if his knees do go, it's not going to affect his game. Like maybe a little, but not much.
Yeah, I mean, I think Patrick Ewing's biggest injury was the fact that he had a gag reflex when it counted. You know, like he just can never win the big one. Ray, question for you though: why were the Nuggets? It felt like, okay, from like an outsider like me, it felt like they were an underrated 1 seed, right? Like they why was there no hype around them when they did have who should have been? I'll give credit to DK. He should have been the 3-time MVP winner in the Joker. Why was there just no respect thrown his way or their way?
I think geographically where they are, I think it ties into it. I do think they were us, meaning the Celtics of the West for a while. Once again, you lose to LA in the conference finals. You lose to Phoenix in the second round. They go to the finals. Every team they lost to went to the finals, and a couple of them won. So I think they were like, well, damn, like, okay, we want to trust Denver. We see it, just like we trust, what's happening on this side, but it's like we have to see it to believe it, and they finally put it all together. So I think, geographically, and then just their past failures led to people saying, well, yeah, they're talented, like they have a great 2-man game and they have good supporting role players. But I just think that people needed to really see it happen for them to say, okay, you know what? This team is everything that we thought that they were. Now let's just see how many they're actually able to reel off. Because once again, I don't think it'll be something where they go back to back or do a 3-peat. But could it be 3 and 5? Maybe. Could it be 2 and 4? Possibly something like that. I do think that type of run is coming. But yeah, I just think it just boils down to geographics, and I think just people's level of trust, because they lost eventually to the Western Conference champions, regardless of where they were the last few years.
Well, what's crazy is like you talk about the West, and they really are set up for. So actually, one of the knocks on this team was the route that they took. So you call them underrated. I completely agree. I think they're underrated. A lot of people are saying that they had the easiest route because of the seed. If you add up all the seeds, it's the highest that's ever been.
That's weak, though.
Yeah, 100% that's weak. Because listen, this is just the way the Western Conference of the NBA is set up at the moment. I don't know if you noticed, but if you look down the line of the Western Conference, it is a completely veteran-dominated old man conference right now, up and down. And every team that is in contention has literally traded away their future to be in contention.
Yep.
The only one that hasn't is the Denver Nuggets. They're the only one.
And the Warriors.
Lakers, no draft. Oh, yeah, you're right. And the Warriors. But even them, they're on the clearly the back end of that dynasty. So it's very clear to me.
Would you say because you just brought up the seeding in the path? Mm-hmm. Let's just say we live in this alternate universe and the Celtics had won the NBA Finals
4-1, easy.
All right, so whose path would have been easier? The Celtics and what they had to do, or the Nuggets, what they did? I would argue that the Celtics.
So Denver.
Really?
Denver. Yeah, because you got to think about Atlanta gave once again. Atlanta almost knocked out Miami, or they did. You know what they almost. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. You know what okay, you're right. I forgot. They did beat Miami. They took us to 6. Then obviously you go 7 with Philly.
That's a byproduct of how we play, though, right? Like, I guess if you're just looking at it just numbers based, right, or just like seeding.
Oh, so you mean just team wise?
Yeah. Because
the Celtics are still winning.
I guess us in that regard, but they both play 7 and 8 seeds. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Laker team. No, I would say Denver, because like I said, that Laker team was 41 and 41. Like that Laker team had no business getting to the conference finals the way they did. Like that was insane that they got that far with that roster, honestly. So I think you could go either way. So I guess I could call it a toss up, and I know that's not the best answer, but that's the answer I'm going to stick to. But I just think that's where it is. Like I think some series were easier than others, but listen, man, it's the playoffs. Like it's hard to win a game. It's hard to win a series. For those that listen to us, from the beginning, I want to give Mike his flowers, because once again, Mike will tell you that me and Bobby know more basketball or forgot more basketball than Mike would know. But I will say Mike talked about this last year on the show. We did a show probably like around free agency, and the KCP trade to Denver just happened. And we'll get into that stuff in a minute about other trade stuff with Beal. But KCP trade just happened. And, we were wondering who's going to come here. And this is before Brogdon. And we was like, who can be a viable option and da-da-da. And Mike was like, well, why not KCP? He just went over to Denver. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, maybe he's a decent player. He was on the championship team of LA, but I was like, I don't know if he moves the needle. Well, in game 5, he got the key steal on back-to-back plays on Jimmy, hits a key 3, and it's like, well, now he's become KCP Stone Cold and clashing through 2 Bears together, because now he's a 2-time champ. So, like I said, I'll give credit to Mike for saying that's someone that could be a part of a championship team. I didn't see it. I just thought I always think about KCP in Detroit and just how bad he was, but not thinking, okay, he's really helped to contribute to what happened in LA, just contributed to what's happened in Denver. So he is one of those guys that you need that they become a star in their role. That's exactly what he became. That's what Bruce Brown became. That's what Michael Porter Jr. became. And, hence why they're hosting the trophy. And, there's a parade inside my city, as they've been saying lately. So, yeah, congrats to them.
I mean, it all boils down to Jokic, right? That's why those guys are hitting the shots that they are. They're as open as they are. They're getting the passes that they are. It's all because of Jokic. And that's I just want to reiterate to everyone out there that it didn't matter who the Nuggets were going to play in the NBA final. They were going to win that series regardless.
I just disagree.
Bro, I know the Celtics had no chance of stopping Nikola Jokic. Zero.
Can we stay there for a moment? Because I knew between us three, I knew the discourse was going to lead to that, obviously. And yeah, I do think that there's some truth behind that, Bobby. I really do. And I'm going to use one of your points against you because you said this multiple times. And it's actually true because there's proof behind the statement. The Celtics always play up to their competition. You say it all the time. They would have gotten up for Denver. And when the teams that they're supposed to beat and not do well, which is why they end up getting to that hole that they got against Miami. And once again, that's not the whole thing. There's more than just that, but that's part of it. They play up to competition. And they've actually handled Denver really well. And I get that the playoffs are a different beast than the regular season. They've always done well against Denver in this Jokic era. So I don't think it would have been it wouldn't have been a 4-1. We might have lost at 7 with them celebrating on our home floor, but it would have been 4-1. I don't agree with that.
The reason why I say that, or I give the Celtics a chance, right? And again, do I think that Jokic would have scored 50 points a game? Yes, but I do think that they would have prevented him from getting 10 plus assists every game, and that's the key.
Yeah. Just like they did to Jimmy Butler, right? It's not. Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, and Max Strus definitely had no impact on that series in the Heat. Those role players did nothing, right?
Okay, but for some reason, Jimmy Butler lives rent-free. We're going to talk about him. This is a great segue. Lives rent-free in Tatum and Brown's head. Like, he just does, right? But look, I mean, Embiid literally just trashes the rest of the league, and we can handle him. Like, I think there are just certain guys that again are boogeymen. Now, I don't think it would have been we would have beat them in 5 games. I think it would have went 7. But if we just took away the thing that really kills every team when they play Denver, it's really just limiting Jokic assists. It just don't let him get 12 assists. Don't do that.
And to add to that too, and Bobby knows that I know, like I said, we're still mad, so that's why we're not fully giving. All right, listen, as good as Michael Porter Jr. has become, there's nothing he would have been able to do with Jayson Tatum. Let's talk with his face. And I know Tatum plays into stuff at times. I get that. There's nothing, and I mean, listen, Tatum and Caleb Martin. I'm telling you, there's nothing that he'd have been able to do. He'd have been out there. It'd have been a mixtape session from game 1 on. So it's just like matchups matter. Styles make fights, and I hope we get to see it. Let's just put it at that. Next year, let's put this on wax right now. I would love for us to be their next opponent in the finals to see how it goes down. That'd be phenomenal.
I just think this iteration of this Celtics team against that Nuggets team is almost like the Heat at that point, where it's such a high culture team and a team that listen. Do you remember the Lakers game, game 4, I think, or game 3, where it was so clear that the refs were on the Lakers side. Mike Malone in the huddle is like, guys, looks like we got to beat the refs tonight. Oh, well. And they went out and did it. It just, it feels like to me that when the moment came, or if the moment came against the Nuggets would have went up a level and the Celtics would have went down a level, just like they did against the Heat, just like they did against the Hawks. Just like this iteration of the Celtics, I have no faith that they would have beaten that Nuggets team.
I just feel like they would have run the same combo on Jokic as they do Embiid, and they would have put Al and
Jokic is better than Embiid, though.
Yeah, sure. Just don't let him pass. Just don't let him fucking pass. Embiid doesn't like to pass, so like that's a difference. But you brought up
Aaron Gordon's better than Shake Milton.
But you brought up Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
So for intents and purposes, Jimmy Butler no shows the finals, and everyone was saying playoff Jimmy. Trust me, like playoff Jimmy lives in my head rent free since the fucking bubble.
Yep.
He played like the caliber of play that we all think he is in the regular season in the NBA Finals.
Yep.
But doesn't catch shade like Tatum or even like when LeBron would screw it up. Why is that, right?
Because he's not the guy. Those other two guys we just mentioned. He's not in that category. And I'm glad that it happened this way, because a lot of, and once again, I used to live in Miami. For those that have followed the show, y'all know this. So a lot of y'all was talking to me crazy, because hey, congratulations, you held up your Eastern Conference trophy. Congratulations. I'll hold the next one. No, you fucking won't. But I got it is what it is. But no, I think people love the underdog story, and he comes off as the ultimate underdog, and it's oh, Jimmy's a dog, and once again, we've even bowed down on him, which I'm like, I'll never fucking do it again. So I don't care what happens next year. I'm not bowing down to Jimmy Butler. I think he's an excellent player, but you can fucking beat him. He's not this insurmountable task that you can't accomplish. So I'm done. I'm done with the whole fear thing. Respect, sure, but the fear, fuck that. Like, just find a way to get that shit done. But I just think that people are finally seeing that yes, he's a star player, but there's a difference between being a star and a superstar. And I'll say the same thing for Tatum. Tatum's a star. He's not a superstar yet. Not yet. Because once again, you can't have moments where you're 3-19 and then you have 51 and then go back to 6-19. So you have to have moments where you're like, okay, every night I'm giving you 30, regardless of who's in front of me. That's when you become that superstar player. We only have about 6 or 7 guys, I think, in the league that fit that bill. So, but like to answer your question in short, like it's a narrative thing. He's a dog in their minds. Apparently, he turned into a fucking poodle in the finals. And I'm just glad that he finally showed everyone what I'd been feeling forever. But I couldn't say much because he beat the Celtics. But it's just like, at the end of the day, he's 0-2. And he has the same amount of rings as Jayson Tatum. So cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you just said. He's playing above his level in those series. He's playing. He's going out of body when he scores those 40 points. When he single-handedly beats the Celtics in Game 3. Listen, that's not who Jimmy Butler is. That's playoff Jimmy. That's a different person. And this is who Jimmy Butler is. And that's why I think the shade's not there, because it's not expected for Jimmy to score 30 a night. It's not expected for Jimmy to lead his team. This playoff series it was, but for him to lead his team to victory every single night, he had to rely on his role players so many different times for them to get to that point. And it's just a little like Ray just said, it's the narrative that they push. It's the thing that everyone can point to that shows why the Heat are where they are. But when it comes down to it, Jimmy Butler is not Jayson Tatum. Jimmy Butler is not LeBron James. Jimmy Butler is not Michael Jordan's son. Okay. There's different levels to this, and Jimmy Butler is not on that level. Period.
He's just those things when he plays us.
Yeah,
So is the rest of the
Milwaukee,
team.
or Milwaukee, because he went Super Saiyan against Milwaukee.
Yeah, he did.
Once again, if he had gave 30% of what he gave to Milwaukee in his finals, then yeah, they would have been holding up the trophy. They would have been holding up the trophy because he was unreal against Milwaukee in that first round. Like that game 3 where he scored 56 on them, like that's what. Listen, taking out my bias against him, that was one of the best performances I ever seen. Ever. I don't care what era, I don't care what round. I was like, this is a special all-time performance. And I was like, they had no answer. Everyone was in quicksand that night. So, but yeah, and once again, those moments for him are too few and far between. And yeah, once again, he consistently shows why he can't be the guy. He's a guy. He's not the guy.
Yes, nice.
So sticking with them
on that one.
Sticking with the Heat before we move to the other NBA news. What do you, Bobby, in your opinion, what do the Heat need to do in this offseason? What additions do they need to make in order to get back to the finals? And I'll just throw in that caveat. It sounds like Damian Lillard is a possibility to Miami.
That's what they need. They need exactly that. That is exactly what the Heat need to take that next step. Because you look at even Game 5, the one that the Nuggets ended up winning the series, was it 94-89?
Yeah.
When the Heat hit a rut offensively, it is atrocious to watch. They can't hit a goddamn thing. So that's what they need. They need someone who can come in and score 30 every single night, who can lift them up with their jumpers. Because listen, like we just said, Jimmy Butler's not that guy. Jimmy Butler's not a jump shooter. He's not going to put up 30 when the rest of the team is down like that. So they got to go get a Damian Lillard. They got to go get, I know, curse me, a Kyrie Irving, someone along those lines.
Yeah, please let Kyrie go to the Heat.
That'd be amazing.
Please.
I love it.
Tank another one of our Eastern Conference rivals. Please do it. Right? You object?
That I mean, but just regular season, that'd be fun to watch though. That'd be awesome watching the regular season. That'd be great. I might even have to catch a game down if that was the case.
I gotta tell you though, now that I said that out loud, sorry to cut you off, Ray. With Kyrie being on the team with Jimmy Butler, that might be the one person, the one team that Kyrie's ever been on, except for LeBron, where he's petrified of another player because Jimmy will kill him. Like Jimmy wants to win. Yeah. He wants to play better than he is.
Yeah. But also too, what I like about that organization is that it's like no one's above the team. So like Spoelstra would probably bench Kyrie for Gabe Vincent if it wasn't doing what he needed to do. I mean that's the thing that I respect about Spo. And once again, I'm only saying this because you're on the show. I'm not slandering him, but just know that Spoelstra is now 2-4 in the finals. But I was, I know how we feel about Spo, but I was just like, he's now 2-4. So if you don't have an all-time guy like LeBron, he's not winning. So just saying.
Are you saying that because of Doc Rivers? I'm just going to ask you, how many finals did he get to it without 3 Hall of Famers?
Hey, I same thing with same. Hey, same thing. It's just like it's you need my point is you need those type of guys, and it's okay. It's okay to have those guys and get to the finals and win it and whatever. Like it's okay. It happens. We're a knee injury away from being probably back-to-back champions. Like it happens.
I'm not taking the bait here. I'm not going to do that. But you did just bring up Coach.
2-4 is 2-4.
I was going to say it wasn't back-to-back, but
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, here's the thing. I'm not going to take the bait.
Still eats at me. That Lakers series still eats way.
I know. Me too, man. Me too. It's okay.
Let's remove ourselves from that. Let's not take the bait. Let's talk about coaching, because coaching is important. So important that it feels like that's the only focus of the Boston Celtics in this offseason. So far, they had made 2 outstanding coaching hires: Sam Cassell and Charles Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Charles Lee has only ever coached under Budenholzer. right? That
Yep.
that is his guy. What do you think, Ray? These two additions, like, let's just assume, and I have a little scenario for you later, but let's
Mhm.
assume that that's not going to be real. Let's just assume that there's no real notable additions or subtractions to the Celtics team, personnel wise, and it's just coaching. Are
Yep.
these two hires enough to take them to the next level?
No, but it's a step in the right direction. Listen. We've been talking about Cassell since we've been on the show. Once again, you needed someone that, you know what I noticed too, right? There was no one in the organization the last few years outside of the owner that knows what it feels to win a championship. Like, I think we underestimate it because, like I said, they got so close to it. It's like, whoa, they should do this. They got there, and you got to find a way to win. It's like there's literally nobody on the fucking team that
Right.
knows what it feels to be the guy at the end. So it's like that. So that eases my mind to an extent. But like to have Cassell there and hold guys accountable, I do think, as far as the Charles Lee hire goes, look for a leap for Rob Williams' game next year. I think that because I think about what happened with Bobby Portis in Milwaukee. I think about what's happened with
Lopez, bro.
with Brook Lopez. I think about, once again, he was there. So he coached Horford before too, right? So Horford started to take his leap in Atlanta. See, I think Horford probably would have been out the league in 2015 if he didn't develop a 3-point shot and develop some better footwork. Charles Lee was there with that when that Hawk team won 60 games. So I do think they probably consulted Horford about that because Horford probably knows him because he was there for those last 2 years when he was down there in Atlanta. So I think the big men are going to benefit from Charles Lee the most because I think that's been the narrative that's out there. But I think just having guys that's hold accountable. Once again, Charles Lee was an assistant for the 2021 championship team. Cassell has been to the finals 3 times. One every time he's been there, been to multiple conference finals as a player. And once again, he's going to get into guys' face if they're not doing their job. So it's not going to be the end all be all, but it's definitely a very good step in the right direction. But they definitely need a few more guys that.
Wow. So just taking this at face value right now, right? Our one of our biggest gripes, the three of us, and I would say all of us that talked about the postseason, was it just didn't feel like there was a strong coaching direction one way or the other. At least now we can say, right, Bobby, that he's hired 2 people that have swag as coaches. Like and he could turn to them in moments, Missoula, where he doesn't really know what to do and ask advice of people that it seems like he trusts, right? So why do you think that this is enough to get them over the hump or is not enough?
I think it is. I mean, I had Sam Cassell on my short list of coaches that I wanted to be head coach if they let go of Joe. So I think the two of them, like Ray said, it brings that championship pedigree because not only has Sam won as a player, but Lee won as an assistant coach with Milwaukee a few years ago. So that's 2 guys who knows what it takes to win a championship. Also, on top of that, just Charles Lee was a finalist for multiple head coaching jobs this year.
Yep.
He was a finalist for head coaching jobs last year. Had they not get knocked out of the first round this year, he'd probably be a head coach in the NBA right now. So it's just adding another head coaching mind to this bench, or a head coaching mind to this bench. But it's going to be good to know that Joe can be like, I don't know what the fuck just happened there. And Lee can be like, hey, this is what just happened, and actually break it down for him. And that's to have that right-hand man on your side is so key. I mean, you even saw it with the Celtics the past few years. With his name's slipping my mind right now. The guy that's in Utah now.
Oh, Will Hardy.
Will Hardy. He was the best assistant coach in the NBA, and that's what everyone was saying about him. And as soon as he leaves, you can feel that leadership. Everything just kind of crumble with it. So,
but
having that top assistant coach is key.
But even with Brad, though, you think about Jerome Allen, Walter McCarty, Evan Turner, and even Joe was on that staff too. But once again, Joe was another guy that was underneath that. But like they had different players that had been there and different guys that knew like they whatever strength or whatever weakness Brad had, they had as a strength, and then whatever weakness they had, Brad had as a strength. So that's why it worked. So, but I'm glad that once again, I don't know if Joe's been open to it or receptive, but I'm glad that once again, if you're about being better as a coach and being better as a team, like this shouldn't have been a no-brainer. This should have been something where it's like, oh, wait, they're gunning for my job. It's like, no, they're gonna teach you up so that you're able to be a guy that can be seen as a formidable coach and maybe turn into another Solskjaer or another Mike Malone's so to speak. So that's eventually what we want. Once again, if you win, people are not going to be upset. You said what?
No, I was just agreeing with you. I mean, I think
if you win, yeah. So that's all. But I want James Posey though. That's the next guy I want.
Yes,
back badly.
Give me as many coaches that used to be players with hardware. That's what you need. Because that resonates. I firmly believe that unless you are a brainchild like Spoelstra, who has Pat Riley behind him, or you're Popovich, right? But he's got hardware. Doesn't matter. What I will say is I like the addition. I think it's a big step. Bobby and I would always talk about, and so would you, Ray, is that it felt like Joe Mazzulla in his press conferences or in his timeouts would never actually say anything basketball related. It was just all platitudes. Bobby, you should take real solace in knowing that Charles Lee said that his 3 main parts of his philosophy as a coach are daily improvement, competitiveness, and togetherness. So that should make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. That's what you got.
Yeah.
That's what you got. All right. Do you guys want to talk about John Morant now, or should we just stay on the Celtics?
Dan Campbell of basketball. That's what we got coming.
Yeah. Yeah, should we just stay on the Celtics and talk about Bradley Beal? I'll let you pick.
I mean, we can talk about Bill, talk about what things will happen with JB. There's few things we can get into. So,
all right. So Bradley Beal today or yesterday requested a trade from Washington. So far, there are 4 teams in that think that they're in the running. We have the Bucks offering Middleton and picks. We have the 76ers offering Tobias Harris in picks.
Gross.
We have the Miami Heat offering that thick Lowry and a couple of picks because it's an expiring contract. So that makes sense. What could the Celtics offer, and should they?
Wait, hold on. Time out. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. Are you telling me with a straight face that Miami only offered Lowry and picks?
Picks. Yeah.
For Bradley Beal?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Beal price is
it's low because
taking a plummet a little bit.
But come on. Come on, bro.
He's going to be entering the second year of his 5-year huge contract, and he's injury prone.
Like, come on, Kyle Lowry and picks for Bradley Beal. Come on, bro.
I'm not offering that trade.
I know, but come on, Mickey Harrison. Come on, Pat. Come on, Bob Mackey. Come on. That's the brain trust. Come on, guys. Like, come on. Please. That's criminal. Same thing with Philly. Daryl Morey, really. Tobias Harris, really. For Beal, really.
That's a max contract for
Tobias. Yeah, like it's just like you know what I'm saying? Like that. I mean, it's weird now. It's funny. Like Tobias Harris' deal is going to age well because him getting 35 a year compared to some other guys, you're like, oh, okay, it's not as bad. But like now, like he is getting 13 a game, getting almost 40 mil a year. It's wild. But to answer your question, because I know I just went off a mini rant, I do think that they should have a conversation around it. I do think that, I think fans here have tried every scenario possible to get rid of Jaylen Brown, and it's amazing what has happened in a year's time. We got on here last year, actually, I think the 3 of us, and talked about how, actually, no, I'm sorry, it was me and Mike. We had a show titled the Stop Disrespecting Jaylen Brown, and now all we do is disrespect him on a regular basis.
He can't fucking dribble. He can't. No,
I'm sure, but I mean, he couldn't dribble last year either. We still love him, but I just think that, I feel you. I don't know. To me, I don't know if that swap for one of them works. I heard on another show that the Wizards GM is not really looking to bring back a player of Brown's caliber because they will still have to pay him at the end of the day. They're looking to get younger across the board. So unfortunately, I guess the only deal they could, not even unfortunately, but I guess you would involve Brogdon because this deal will be up soon. It would be Brogdon, maybe Grant, and then if you do like a signing trade with him,
Grant,
so Brogdon, Grant, and then I don't know. I guess in a few second rounders, maybe a first. I guess.
No. Brogdon and Pritchard in a second rounder for Beal right now.
So not Grant involved in these. Not Grant.
No, you don't need to involve Grant. He's not under contract. He's not under contract.
You can do a sign and trade though.
Yeah, sign and trade. I'm saying to make the money work. If they make the money work, you do that.
Well, listen. My opinion, and then I'll go to you, Bobby. Sorry because this is the one thing I really wanted to talk about. I think Brogdon's contract. I like the player. But I think if you can get him out, and Pritchard has already said he's requesting a trade. Washington wants to get younger. They want to get out from underneath that deal. And also, all you're doing, like if we get Bradley Beal for Brogdon and Pritchard, I'm not expecting Beal to finish his contract here in Boston, or for Brown to finish his entire contract here. But all you're doing is you're giving us another 2 to 3 year window with a all-pro, all-star, fucking all-world talent, and he wants to play with Tatum. And I think just in that instance, he will complement Tatum. Yeah, which means that Jaylen Brown, who doesn't complement Jayson Tatum, and Jayson Tatum doesn't really complement Jaylen Brown. They're pretty redundant. I think Brown will get better just because he'll feel like he has to do less. Could you imagine? And I also just want to let you know that in my scenario, I'm trading Marcus and Al for is it Jonas Valanciunas from the
Valanciunas.
Yeah, Valanciunas from the Pelicans, because they want a point guard, and Marcus can do it.
I don't hate Valanciunas.
I know, but
we need defense.
But I'm not giving
Valanciunas. Yeah,
I'm not giving both for him. If you want one for them, I'm not giving both for Valanciunas. I think that he would be an upgrade of what was there, but I'm not giving both for Valanciunas. Now,
it's the age.
No, this is a pipe dream I'm about to bring up. But now, if you told me it was Marcus and Al for Karl-Anthony Towns, I mean the cat.
He can't defend, or if he can, he chooses not to.
Yeah, it's 20 and it's 25 and 12 a night. Like that's what we need. We have not had that,
right?
Ever at that position.
I'm sick of big men coming to Boston to shoot threes. I don't want that. I don't want that anymore. You just told me that you don't think that we would have beaten the Nuggets. You need a rim defender, and you can't. And Towns is going to do it. And Rob's not going to be healthy.
I like Valanciunas, but he not do nothing.
Yeah, he's not a great defender.
Saying that right now, he may get some rebounds that we need. I'll give you that. He'll get some rebounds that Cat may give. He's a little tougher down there than Cat. But listen, Jokic.
But Rob and Valanciunas against those bigs, that's a pretty formidable. And now because Rob's not a 5, you can let him actually slide into the 4.
Yeah, but that's predicated to me. That's predicated off if he's going to. Rob would have to take a leap offensively for that to happen. Like, and that's where once again we just talked about the hiring of Charles Lee, and we'll see what he does with Cassell as well, and whoever they add on to the staff going into summer league in a few weeks. But that's where there's a lot of variables that have to change in order for what you're saying to work. They talked about getting Isaiah Stewart from Detroit as well. I saw that.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
because I think he'd be a great as a backup to Rob and Al. He's an energy guy.
He'd be a good starter when Rob gets hurt.
Yeah, exactly. So I think to me, Isaiah Stewart would be that's probably more realistic than what. Once again, I would love, even you talked about Porzingis. That would be great too.
Oh no,
but it's once again $36 million. I don't see
and he's only under contract for one more year, so like he's gonna get paid that.
Yeah. So,
but before I kick
throw-
to you, Bobby, and get back on track, I just wanted to stay off the rails for one more second. My starting five would be Peel, JB, JT, Rob, and Jonas. That's not a bad starting five.
It's a lot of points. I don't know how the defense will work out though. I feel like I feel like I fucking hate my
Derek
life.
White. You still get Derek White on the bench. You know,
that's true.
I want to throw out a Beal trade scenario, guys. You might hate me for it. What is to stop the one team who has been hoarding guards who shoot, has built a dynasty off of this in the last 10 years, right? What about Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, first round pick for Bradley Beal? Golden State instant title favorites again, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's a pretty good deal.
The NBA better hope that don't happen. I'm telling you right now. The NBA better hope that if that happens. If that happens, go ahead. I just got mad. If that happens in a few weeks,
sorry.
I'm telling you, you can book it right now. That the Golden State, that Steph Curry would get his 5th ring and play what? Listen, Bill, Clay, listen. That would be, whew, that would be scary.
Be something.
Yeah, that'd be something.
I mean,
but the original question, Bobby,
if you're the Wizards, can you really expect? If you're the Wizards, can you really expect more than what you get in that deal for Bradley Beal? Because you get Wiggins, who is a person that you know can show up when it matters, and you know he can carry a team when he needs to. Not saying every night, when he needs to. Plus, you get a guy like Kuminga, who isn't in the right spot, who has that athletic upside, who knows what he could be, for a guy that is obviously getting traded.
So
his value couldn't be lower.
That means that Kuzma walks then, if that's the case. If that was the case.
Yeah.
Kuzma walks. If that's the case in Washington.
The question was, Bobby, what could the Celtics offer, and should they be in the running for Bradley Beal? Damn it.
I just don't.
You don't see a path.
Yes, I don't see how they do it, because we're all so concerned right now with the cap, and I know you're saying it's not moving forward, but like I don't see the Celtics doing that to themselves. I don't see them hamstringing themselves into a cap situation where they are forced to make a trade. They're already questioning bringing back their superstar that they bred here because of cap situation. I don't think they would put themselves in cap hell just for one season of Beal.
I think
that's
so
a different
crazy
question. I think it would be awesome.
Yeah,
but I just don't.
So what about this, right? So my thing is, maybe, because I know you say you don't see a path. What about if it was like a 3-team trade, right, or a 4-team trade, where you're getting certain guys back in return, and then maybe you don't get Bill, but you get guys that can fill out the rest of your roster. So just Brogdon seems to be the piece that is put out there that's going to get moved around, or you're not resigning Grant or whatever. So just do you think a 3 or 4-team trade would work instead? So what do you say to that?
I just don't know. I mean, maybe if you can get Beal to come down on his cap number for a bit, because he's re-upping soon, right? His contract's up in what, next year after?
Yeah,
it's coming. So I just don't. I don't know, man. Who would you give out though? Because you have to match salaries regardless, right? So they would have to give up big salary guy. I mean, I guess Brogdon's the guy, right? That's
he's been, and that's what I'm saying. The Grant signing trade. I think Gallinari, who just opted in today at 6.8. I think that he might be someone as a filler that gets put into a deal. Even though I know some people want to see him play here, and I wanted to as well. But if you're able to upgrade that, and once again, this all goes back to the trade we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and it involved Jaylen Brown. But I'm telling y'all, and I'm sticking to Mike Dunson. We talked about some other crazy scenarios, but to me, I felt like this is the most logical one. If you were to deal JB, right? Once again, I know people are holding on for dear life, saying don't do it, or you got people that want it to happen. Like it is something Twitter has never been more divisive than it is right now. I'm really in love with that idea of if you were to move him to Atlanta for Sadiq Bey, Onyeka Okongwu, and I forget what the third person was in that deal. It's no, it wasn't Collins. No, it was Okongwu, Sadiq Bey, and the other person will come to my mind. But
Hunter?
It might have been Hunter. It might have been Hunter. Yeah, I just feel like you get better defensively. You get guys that would know their role right away, and I just think to me that would be huge. Like you get something where you know that Tatum becomes the guy. It's no more your turn, my turn. It's just like, look, you're the guy. Take us there. And I think that's what happens sometimes because Tatum knows that he has to defer or he wants to keep people involved. It's just like, it's more like, man, hey, take the ball as opposed to, nah, give me this shit. And once again, I think about Larry Bird. Once again, we need to see him play. I know that I'm sure he believed that he needed McHale and Parrish and Dennis Johnson and, Gerald Henderson and so on, the names go down, so on and so forth. But he ultimately knew I'm the guy. I'm once again, we got a great team around us. 86 team is probably a top 10 team of all time that won a championship. It starts and ends with me. And once again, when our zero or our agency, our version of Agent Zero gets that here, that's when things will start to change. Because like, look, you're the guy. But I mean, like I said, as far as trades go, like I said, I just think, see if you could maybe a 3 or 4 trade, but like I said, that Atlanta trade to me sticks out in my mind because I feel like that would be the most realistic deal. Once again, but I wouldn't be surprised if Isaiah Stewart is just the guy they choose to do a smaller deal with, and then just going from there. But I'd be totally fine with a Marcus Smart deal at this moment. Like I say, he's going to age 30, and once again, I'm totally fine with White and Brogdon leading the way, and you getting Smart flipped into something else that can help the team. Not just for next year, but going forward.
Like a real big.
I just think paying.
Yeah.
Listen, Jaylen Brown made all NBA second team, but he is not one of the top 5 forwards in the NBA, and now you have to pay him like one of the top 5 forwards in the NBA. So it's such a tough position to be in because of the situation Jaylen was in this year. He had a great year, but he is not a transcendent player, and that's transcendent player money.
He's Jimmy Butler.
That's what that is.
Yeah,
Jimmy Butler.
Exactly. That's the realm that he's gonna be in.
And once again, that's perfectly okay to be in that
fine.
realm. But it's just
But
like,
he just
and
needs
once
to
again,
accept that he is Jimmy Butler and he's not Jayson Tatum. Like he needs to be Scotty and not MJ.
yeah, but once again, we've made the comparison before. Like I said, for one guy, it's easy to get 40. The other guy got to fight to get 40. And that's the best comparison. That's the best analogy I made for him. For Tatum, it's easy for him to get 40. He can get 20 in the quarter. You're like, damn, like where, like what, he already got 34. Like that Philly game where he got 25 at the half, and then it's like, oh, okay, now he got 51. Like it's crazy. JB got to fight to get 40. Even that game against Orlando when he had 50 against Orlando, it was like it was hard fought to get 50. Like it wasn't, nothing ever came easy.
It wasn't the pretty jumpers like Tatum has.
Exactly. And once again, 50 is 50, so I don't want to discredit that, but it's just like, to me, I've seen this experiment enough to know that if it's not going to be something where they are using more pick and roll with each other next year, it's time to just move on from the experiment because once again, we use the word redundancy already. And once again, it's hard because, I think we look at them as like the Celtics version of Xander and Mookie. So it's like, damn, you had the homegrown guys, don't let them go. But it's like the alternative is that you could become a star right now. And it's like, but do you get a Verdugo type guy? If you get a Verdugo type guy back, then you're okay. But that's not a guarantee.
Right. All right. So before we move on to the last topic, which is going to be the NFL, what do we do about Mr. Second Amendment, John Morant. That suspension is looming. How many chances do you think he's going to get? What do you think that the actual suspension is going to be? And if you're Memphis, what do you do? Ray, start with you.
I've gone back and forth on this because obviously there weren't any laws that were broken, and thankfully
Sure.
no one was injured or hurt in these incidents. However, when you represent a brand and you are an individual Fortune 500 company, right? That's what he is. You are under contract from the NBA. You're signed to them. They're not signed to you. You just recently signed a 5-year, $193 million deal with a chance to go up to 231 if you make an All-NBA team, which you missed this year because you were out because of your off the court decisions. I hope that his circle gets better. I hope that his thought process gets better. Once again, as a young man that has a daughter, that has other family that he's looking out for, it's important that he finds a way to get his mind right before it goes left immediately. And you can't say, "Oh, I'm going to counseling for this, and I'm talking to this person, that person," and then you're still doing the same thing. Because once again, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So I don't have a fiery quote for this. So Craig, I love you, but I'm like, I don't have a fiery quote for this. I do want him to get his life back on track because I want to make sure that he's able to support not only himself but the family around him. But needless to say, if I'm Adam Silver, I would probably do what happened with Steven Jackson back in the day, maybe about 30 games. I think that's a substantial thing. It should not be for the season. Like for those that saying that, like get a fucking grip. It should not be a season. I think 30 games would suffice. Have him talk to different schools and different students about the importance of not doing things online and messing up the brand, and just making sure that you're always in CYA mode. And I just think that 30 games would suffice. Have him go around like a tour of talking to different kids at schools, do some other community service if you want to or whatever, and just leave it at that. Like it's like, to me, that would be suffice. But it should not be for a break. It should not be for a whole season. And do not fucking post anything on social media. Like I don't even care if it's your kid's birthday. You better just say happy birthday to Kari and leave it at that. Like don't put nothing on the fucking internet at all.
Yeah, man, I'm just baffled by the whole thing. Honestly, it's mind blowing to me because Ja is in a place now where I saw an interview where a rapper who grew up a Crip was talking about it, and Ja is idolizing and trying to be people that would give everything in their life to be where Ja Morant is. Okay, being in a gang and being someone that grows up, in a downtown city area like that, doing those things you do for survival. You don't necessarily do it. I mean, yeah, it turns into because you're hard and you're a gangster and you're doing all that, but like people give anything to escape that life because it's so dangerous, because people get killed every single day. And you're sitting here as an NBA superstar who has escaped all this, who makes millions of dollars, and you're sitting here idolizing that behavior. And to me, that's just mind-blowing because, like I said, every single one of them fears for their life almost on a daily basis. If you're a Blood, you're a Crip, listen, you go into these every day is a fight. Ja Morant doesn't have a fight every day. He doesn't have this. He's living a life of luxury. So it's just crazy that that's what he would aspire to. Yeah,
and especially the city that he's in. You in Memphis, like they just took young Dolph out of there last year.
Yeah,
at a fucking cookie shop, bro. They shot this man at his aunt's cookie shop in Memphis. That's real life. That's real. Like that shit is real. Like You want to be involved with stuff like that, man? You better listen to some gangster music.
Wake up, man. Just wake up.
Listen to some Easy E in the car, and call it a day. Just do that. You want to be a gangster? Listen to Easy E. Listen to NWA. And once again, Boys in the Hood are come jack in your hood, we'll pull your car. Nothing to like but to be legit. Yeah, play that. Do that. Then you want to be a gangster, get your little Jerry Cole wig and do that. Have fun in the house. Don't go out here trying to be something you're not. It's that simple.
He was literally dropping blood, or he thinks he's a Crip.
I mean, once again, I don't know what affiliation if there is. I hope not, because they don't need to be. But once again, that shit is real out there. Once again, they take people out there for sport, and that's a lot of inner cities. I don't want to make it seem like this is Memphis, but once again, Dolph was loved out there. One of my favorite artists ever. But unfortunately, his life got cut short at 36, like young. Got a couple kids. Got what I'm saying. So once again, you have a daughter, bro. Like she's young, and you don't want to be around a person that says, "Oh, I ain't got nothing to lose." So why not do X, Y, and Z? So it's just like, I don't know. He needs to find a way to chill. Once again, you want to be a gangster, go listen to Easy Boys in the Hood. Go listen to NWA, express yourself. Go listen to Ice-T. Go listen to Colors, John Morant. Go listen to Ice-T's song Colors that tells you all about the gang life and how that shit is not it's not worth it. It's just not.
Here, so again, I don't pretend to be an expert on this subject, so I'm going to keep my response.
Oh, me, I ain't no expert on it either. I'm no expert.
John Morant, fuck your crew, respect your family. That's it.
Yeah.
You have a daughter. You have the opportunity of a lifetime in front of you, and all you should care about is not where you came from, but where you want to go, and what you want for your daughter. So
Bingo.
What I would suggest is that you swap out your NWA for some Hootie and the Blowfish and just live a peaceful existence. Okay?
And hold my hand, baby. Just hold my hand.
Hold my hand. I love it.
That's all you need to do. But real though, like
not for different words.
you have all the talent in the world, and by all accounts, aside from flashing guns, I say that like it's not flippant. I don't mean to do that, but he seems like a pretty decent human. So like that we know
he's not doing some dumb decisions, but cool.
But it's unfortunately because of the color of your skin and what you do for a profession, the microscope was going to be on you more than it would be on me or anyone else that's not an NBA player.
Yep.
If you just like Ray said, fucking delete everything. If you want to go on MySpace, go on MySpace. There are 4 people there, so flash all your pictures there if you want to. But just make sure that when you leave this earth giving your daughter $100 million because you would have earned it, and that's all you need to do. That's those are my feelings on the subject.
No, facts.
What does Memphis do?
No, I mean they got to ride with whatever Silver says. Yeah, they can't. They nothing they can say. Yeah,
for how long?
You got to ride with whatever decision that Silver made. I think they already suspended him from doing team activities and being around the facility. So I think that was just the first order of action. But yeah, there's nothing else that they have to ride with whatever Adam Silver makes. Now, seeing his interview, I think, and the players, I think it was like right before the draft lottery, you could tell that there was disappointment in Adam Silver's voice, in his face when he brought up the potential suspension that was coming down. And I think that he's not going to be as lenient as he was, obviously, when it happened. And I think that, I thought they weren't. I think that they thought they warranted a slap on the wrist because it was like, look, okay, it's a gun. I said, no one got shot. And once again, I think that's where a lot of people
were. Toy gun, too.
Yeah, but yeah, fuck out of here, toy gun. Are you dumb? Like, a toy gun? Like, are you kidding me? Man, anyway, once again, okay. if that was the case, that it was a toy gun, that it was, you got a pellet or whatever.
You're even stupid.
It's like, no, not even that. Just then say it from the jump. Say it from the jump. But even then, and once again, as someone who was
or shoot it.
and so, that too. but as someone who was growing up in the inner city, like I have never seen anyone just say, "Hey, like we've had BB guns and I've seen some other stuff," but it's just like it's never just gonna be like, "Yeah, like we got like old dog from Minister Society." Like, that's not like you don't have to be that guy. You don't have to be that guy. So just don't. And once again, this is not racially motivated. So for those that listen to it's not racially motivated. We once again we are three men who one of us are on this show right now are fathers. The other two of us are looking to become fathers in the future. So we're speaking with that lens. We're speaking with that perspective, and just saying, look, we enjoy seeing you play basketball, sir. So at the end of the day, yes, it's about the family. But yeah, we want to see you on the court. You are one of the greatest talents this league has seen in some time. So we want to see, we want to see you on the court doing your thing, dunking on people on a regular basis. So
you have a gift. You have a gift. Don't trade it in for people who don't.
Right, exactly. And once again, you're taking care of so many. So just make sure that once again you're on point. Once again, you're allowed to make mistakes. So I want to have that as a takeaway. You're allowed to make mistakes. This just don't be this doesn't need to be the one that you make consistently.
Yeah,
like
this isn't even a mistake though. This is a catastrophic failure if he fucks this up, man. Because he's given such a blessing with his body and his ability to jump out of a gym, and it just he has so many God-given talents that listen. I have 2 daughters, and I would give anything in the world to be where Ja Morant is, to be able to give my babies a life that I couldn't even dream of, and be able to live it in that moment with them, because he's a professional athlete. He doesn't have to go to work every day. He doesn't have to get daycare. He doesn't have to do any of this shit. And he's trying to be part of a life that people are actively every single day, literally killing people to get out of. And he's trying to emulate that.
It's
as
a simple
multimillionaire. It's
as simple as this. Like, he is in a position where he could give his daughters, grandchildren, a good ride through life, or he's gonna fuck it up. Like, and the last thing I'd say about this is, you know who I personally think he needs to talk to? Dennis Rodman. I mean, that man in his childhood, where he grew up, there was drugs, there was gang warfare. He if you ever seen The Last Dance, his episode, he talks about it. All that guy wanted to do was just shoot and play basketball. Now, he did marry himself in a wedding dress. Whatever. That's fine. He also has 4, 5 rings. So
5.
Oh yeah, 5. 5. 5.
Because one was San Antonio. Didn't he win? No. 2 with Detroit, 3 with Chicago. So to wrap it up, DeAndre Hopkins was in Foxborough for 36 hours. He did leave without a contract.
Mm-hmm.
However, he did post on his Instagram story a picture of him and Matt Judon with the title La Familia. Does DeAndre Hopkins sign with the New England Patriots? And if so, Bobby, how much of an improvement is that for the Patriots moving into the season?
Well, answer the second part first. It's a astronomical improvement from their current wide receiver core, even if it's 80% of DeAndre Hopkins. Listen, we saw Hopkins last year. His first game back, didn't he have 12 catches? So like
from week 7 through week 14, he led the league in catches, yards, and touchdowns.
It's like, people are saying, he's washed, he's not the same. Listen, an 80% DeAndre Hopkins is still better than 80% of the wide receivers in the NFL. Yeah, no, it would be a huge lift to this team if they get DeAndre Hopkins, because right now what you're rolling out there, Devontae Parker and who's even the 2? Aguilar's gone.
Juju.
Oh, I forgot you signed Juju. That's right. Yeah, I mean, he just adds. You would go from an average wide receiver corp to maybe the top 10 wide receiver core in the NFL. You know what I mean? Because right now your 1 is Parker or Juju, however you want to look at it. Juju's like the slot, but you know what I mean? That's below average as your top 2 guys. However,
it would be above average if that was your 2 and 3.
If you bring in,
if
you bring in
Devontae's just there to
Hopkins,
take the top off, and Juju can do what he does because you got Hopkins at the 1, man. That's a whole different.
if you bring in D-Hop, your starting 4 wide receivers are D-Hop, Juju, Devontae Parker, and Kendrick Bourne.
That's awesome. That's great. And it's exactly what I told
However,
you guys.
does it really matter in terms of wins? Because you're still going against the Bills, the Dolphins, and Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know if it matters as much as wins. I think it matters more to Mac Jones and his development as a quarterback, because I have sung this since till the cows come home, right? A quarterback cannot be elite. He cannot take that next level without a number 1 wide receiver. It is a fact. It is almost impossible for a quarterback to be next level unless you're Patrick Mahomes.
Travis Kelce.
Well, last year though. Well, I guess Kelce counts. Yeah, you're right. Without that guy, and Hopkins instantly gives him that. You know what I mean? Because you get online. Josh Allen has Diggs. Herbert had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. It's just you get on like these guys that are supposed to be the top guys have top guys to throw to. If you have scrubs to throw to, you're gonna play like a scrub. It's just the way it works. So it just brings it a whole new level to Mac Jones' potential, in my opinion.
Ray?
Yeah, I'm hoping that we walk away with him coming here. Obviously, I know that he didn't sign, but yeah, of course, it changes the game drastically. Like we said, it even if he's at a little less than 100%. But I actually see him having a Larry Fitzgerald second half of the type of career. I think he's in that mold in my opinion. So I know he's about to be 31. So I can see him still playing another 5 or 6 years. I just feel like that his game is not predicated on speed and taking kind of like a Deshaun Jackson type thing. So I think that he's excellent. Like after he still has 64 catches, 700 yards, 6 touchdowns last year. Once again, after missing that many games. So clearly, like I said, when he's locked in, he's still, a top 10 guy. But yeah, I mean, I once again, if you're looking for Mac to be the guy or whoever you bring in, like you have to have people around him that's going to be, excellent with, running routes and, catching passes. Similar to what he had in Alabama. That's why he was so good at Alabama, because everyone there was pro level, type players, and a lot of those guys are now in the league. So yeah, I hope that he makes his decision. Once again, it's not like he needs to make it tomorrow, but we want that because we're impatient. But I think that, I'm okay with giving him 2 years, $20 million, second year as a player option, and 13 million guaranteed.
Give him a Revis type contract with the Patriots.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. It's and the reports say all he's asking or looking for is around $8 to $9 million of base salary, with incentives that will get him close to making him whole. Now he's not going to make $19 million, but if you give him 2 for 27 with 16 guaranteed, sounds like he'll stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm all in. Like I need that to happen. To me, that's just like you can't give Aguilar 26 and not give D-Hop that type of money. And once again, I just think that would be it would be crucial for the offense. I like how Gesicki has looked so far in OTAs. I think he's gonna have a really good season under Bill O'Brien's offense. I know that he coached him at Penn State. And yeah, once again, that's the elephant in the room, right? Can DeAndre Hopkins, coexist with Bill O'Brien again?
yes,
Clearly he can and come up here and have that competition. So I'm happy about that. So that's what I was nervous about. But yeah, I hope they find a way to close the deal. Once again, I wish they let him leave without a deal, but it is what it is. Hopefully he makes the decision right before training camp.
Before we go, I just want to say one thing. I am so fucking happy that Bruce Cassidy won the Stanley Cup, because what that does is it tells all of us and you, the listening audience, that the inmates should never run the asylum. The Bruins players did not want him there because he was too mean. So what do you get? You get Jim Montgomery, who couldn't coach his way out of a wet fucking paper bag in the playoffs, and you send Bruce Cassidy to Vegas, and they win the cup. I just hope that if there's one team in Boston that blows it up this year, I hope it's the Bruins. And I really believe that this should be the reason as to why. Ray, what are your thoughts and what were your emotions when you saw Cassie in this first year hoist Lord Stanley's Cup?
Oh, I was fucking sick. But it was just like, I mean, I'm glad he beat Florida though, because I'm like, a lot of South Florida fans had been talking crazy to me the last few weeks, acting like this was like the 1980s.
They both got stomped.
Yeah, both got annihilated. So it warms my heart. But yeah, I was like 9-3. I was like, my God, like that's unreal. Like, then that can't fucking happen. Like 9-3 in a closeout game.
I think your exact words were, "That's an ass whooping."
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it is. That's what, like, there was no other way to say it. There was no need to say ball game. There was no need to say it's a wrap. Like, no, like, you literally got your ass handed to you, and it was awesome to see that final score, on my screen. But yeah, I do think I don't see them blowing it up, because I just feel like they're just not going to do that.
They have to. They're in cap jail.
Sure, but I mean, that's the case. The one guy you bring back is Bertuzzi, in my opinion. I think he was awesome.
Yes,
in his time here. I felt like he fit right in with what they were trying to do. And once again, team won 60 fucking games. Like, like, it's out. I can see if they had won 17, 18. I was like, all right, but I'm like, the team still won 60 fucking games. So I just think, to me, I'd be okay with a 50-win season, and you go do some other stuff in the playoffs.
Have the best record in the NHL. Whatever you
don't
do,
give a
not
shit
have the best
how many
record
wins
in the
they have in
NHL.
the regular season.
Yeah, no,
Doesn't
of course, but it's just like, I mean, but that's where I think we're with that with all four teams, major teams here now. Like, we have completely devalued the regular season, and it makes complete sense, because they have shown that seeding does not matter, especially with the Red Sox, not the Red Sox, with the Celtics and Bruins. So I totally get that. But yeah, like I said, find a way to get Bertuzzi. Once again, it was criminal that Omar was still playing with those injuries that he played with. They let him be out there and basically ruin his body.
Keep playing. That's the fucking criminal part. Let him keep
playing. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that. And once again, people were getting on swim, and I'm like, you can't fucking blame him for.
No.
Like, he came out there ice cold and did the best he could. And once again, they had a fucking lead, and then once again, 59.8. Like I said, I was on level 9. So I was on my level 9 crew at TD. 59.8, and you hear dun 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 dun. That's the music that plays when the opposing team scores.
Oh, I remember.
Like, wow,
I love Bruins.
Wow. I was like, wow. I was like, that's. But the Panther fan that was on that level, I reminded me of Mike though, because the day scored, and all you hear was the Panther fan go, "Woo!" I was like, "What a dick!"
That's another thing.
It was so fitting, it was so fitting, because we fucking deserved it.
Bobby, how vindicated should Cassidy feel right now?
Very, very, because you saw how the Bruins collapsed in that series, and in my opinion, it was 100% coaching. That's why the Bruins lost that series. Montgomery took the best goalie situation in the NHL, and just tore it to shreds by mismanaging it as bad as you possibly could. It was from not taking Olmark out, right, to letting him finish that game. I think he gave up 4 in the first 2 periods, right? Let him finish that game, and then to go ahead and bring Sway out for game 7 after that.
was one of the most catastrophic, horrible coaching decisions I've seen in the history of the NHL. There's so many different reasons behind it. Why that?
The one thing I don't blame him for or hold against him is the goalie rotation, because that's never been done in the playoffs before. It works in the regular season. But his other fucking line changes were so ridiculous. But I think all that really matters is it was coaching that doomed the Bruins, and it was coaching that propelled the Las Vegas Golden Knights to the Stanley Cup. Like, that's just it. You had the guy, and he was chased out of town because he was too mean.
He was so clearly a great coach too. We all said that when they fired him, man. That's what's so frustrating. It's like, we had a show. We literally sat here and debated for 45 minutes whether it should be Don Sweeney or Bruce Cassidy. And it was a resounding Don Sweeney needs to go.
Right.
Bruce Cassidy cannot go.
Bruins have had like 4 GMs in 60 years, so it wasn't going to be Don Sweeney. But all I have to say is Jake DeBrusk better be a fucking Hall of Famer, because he's the reason that Bruce Cassidy's gone. That's it. That is it. So he better put up the numbers. We're kind of over. So for the real BK Bob Kelly, Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan, this is Michael Marcangelo saying thank you so much for listening to Missing the Point. We'll talk to you next week.
Miles, are you ready to record our promo for Season 2 of the Wanna Bet podcast?
David, have you ever seen a grown man naked?
Miles, we're not here to quote lines from Airplane. We're here to tell people that Season 2 starts August 18th.
But I like Airplane.
I know you do, but Wanna Bet is a sports betting podcast. Each week we bet $1,000 on the NFL teams and games that we love.
Well, that sounds like fun.
It is fun. And last year you picked over 60% of your games correctly.
How'd you do?
We're not talking about that. We are telling people that they can find us every Friday. So no more movie quotes.
Roger.
Electricast.
Hey there, I'm DC. I host the Rock Podcast, Back to the Arena, The Interviews. It's about a 30-minute podcast where I talk one-on-one with a band who has released new music. You can find us on all the best podcast sites like Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, and more. If you're a rock fan like me, subscribe today to Back to the Arena, The Interviews.
Electricast.